The voice of the Twin Tiers. News Channel 25, WVTT. Depend on it.
Taking our first look at weather earlier today, high temperature of 33 degrees, as you can see right there. Quite a bit of sunshine around, a few clouds as well. Overnight tonight, beginning around 9:30 in the western parts of our viewing area, around 10 o'clock in the eastern sections of our viewing area, out in Allegheny County and down into Potter County, we will be seeing some snow flurries, maybe even a snow shower or two passing through the area. Cloudy otherwise tonight with a low temperature of 26 degrees. Then during the daytime tomorrow, mostly sunny, a few clouds around, high temperature 36 degrees. So once again, Alexa, a few snow flurries in the forecast again.
That's right, and it looks like we could have some sun tomorrow, but still those temperatures won't reach over the 40 mark, Jeff.
Yeah, we'll check in with meteorologist Jim Rinaldi coming up here on WVTT.
Global news update on WVTT.
While Venezuela deals with a political crisis, it's also dealing with some economic problems. Venezuela is running a massive deficit and the currency is way overvalued. As Paula Newton reports, that's creating a huge black market in Venezuela.
Arepas are devoured by Venezuelans morning, noon, and night. It's a cornmeal patty sandwich as Venezuelan as, well, Hugo Chavez. But even this staple has been hit by price hikes and shortages. Take the prized meat. The owner tells us sometimes he can't get it. Same for the cheese. And then there's the price. Up by more than a third this year, and hold on dear arepas, economists here say Venezuela is on track to have the highest inflation rate in the world in 2013.
This year is going to be a year of shortages, a lot of scarcity, inflation.
And the black market exchange rate helps explain why. Right now, the official exchange rate is $1 to 4.3 Venezuelan bolivars. That's the only legal way to exchange money, but a black market flourishes here. So during the election, $1, that was just 3 months ago, was worth not 4, but 8 Venezuelan bolivars. Right now, just 3 months later, $1 is worth 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, more than 16 Venezuelan bolivars to just $1.
What we have is a black market rate where you have a difference of around 400% between the official rate and the black market rate.
And so prices here reflect inflation in the black market, not the legal one. Store owners have no choice but to raise prices as most goods in Venezuela are imported.
Nos hemos sentido pues algo afectados.
We're affected by all of this, he says, but we have to adjust and we get on with it. What allows Venezuela to get on with it is its vast oil production and reserves. An oil boom in the last 15 years has increased oil profits in Venezuela almost 8-fold. An oil boom some economists say was squandered by President Hugo Chavez and what they call his petro-populism, using oil profits for government spending.
This has been the largest oil boom ever, and he could have transformed the economy. He wasted through his economic policy not to invest them in the economy, not to transform the economy, the Venezuelan society, but to import more goods and services from abroad so as to create a sense of well-being which is completely divorced from our productivity.
In fact, Venezuela produces very little except oil right now. And that means even the ingredients of its precious arepas are getting more and more expensive or at risk at times of running out altogether. Paula Newton, CNN, Caracas.
Coca-Cola has been an American staple for more than a century, but many experts say sugary beverages like Coke contribute to our growing obesity problem. Now, a new ad campaign from the company claims it can be part of the obesity solution. Carol Costello reports.
I like to teach the world to sing with me.
It's a far cry from the feel-good 70s era Coca-Cola commercial.
We'd like people to come together on something that concerns all of us, obesity.
Critics say today's new ad is not about love and harmony, but about damage control. The ad debuted nationwide on cable TV Monday night.
And as the nation's leading beverage company, we can play an important role.
Critics say this is an obvious attempt to thwart efforts by politicians to limit the amount of sodas Americans drink. Surely you remember New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg's successful attempt to limit sugary drink sizes to 16 ounces.
We've got to do something about it. Everybody's wringing their hands saying, got to do something. Well, here is a concrete thing. You can still buy large bottles in stores, but in a restaurant, 16 ounces is the maximum that they would be able to serve in one cup.
The new ad is not the first time we've seen the industry fighting back. In 2010, the Senate Finance Committee proposed that part of President Obama's signature health care plan be paid for in part with money from a sugary drink excise tax. The big soda industry lobbying arm, the American Beverage Association, promptly spent $7 million in a nationwide ad campaign to prevent that from happening.
We spent money to put the voice of the people on the air. Most of that goes for paid media. We were counseled by very smart people in Congress that this, in some quarters, might be a viable idea, just again because the pressure for funding was so enormous, rightly so, and you couldn't take anything for granted.
Their lobbying effort paid off. There is no federal tax on sugary drinks. Fast forward to today. The Centers for Disease Control says more and more Americans are drinking the stuff. The Center for Science in the Public Interest, a nonprofit consumer advocacy group, says sugary drinks are the #1 source of calories in the American diet. They've even put out their own version of the famous Coca-Cola polar bear called the Real Bear.
Sugar, sugar, so good, so good, sugar.
In the meantime, Coca-Cola has responded saying, quote, obesity is complex and it requires partnership and collaboration to help solve it. We have an important role to play in the effort to find solutions that work for everybody. Carol Costello, CNN, Atlanta.
Now the WVTT Consumer Watch. Are you looking for a new job in the new year? Well, there's a recent survey of employers that revealed some of the most common interview blunders and some unusual mistakes job candidates have made. Here's Karen Kafa.
CareerBuilder recently surveyed about 2,600 hiring managers to ask about the worst job interview blunders they've ever encountered. Among the standouts, an interviewee who hugged the president of the company, a potential employee who emptied the office candy dish into her purse. One candidate called in sick to her current job during the interview. Yet another asked if he could be paid under the table. The hiring manager surveyed also gave some serious insight into the most common mistakes interviewees make, like appearing disinterested during the interview. Try to maintain good energy throughout. Answering a phone call or a text can be a major turnoff to a potential employer. Try to silence your device before you go in. Dressing inappropriately can also make or break an interview, and so can talking negatively about a current or former employer. The best way to avoid these pitfalls, CareerBuilder says, is to prepare for the interview ahead of time. Research the company so you have plenty to talk about with the hiring manager, and think about the questions that might be asked so you can answer them effectively. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
Time now for the WVTT Wall Street Wrap-Up. It's presented by News Radio 96.7 WVTT. An update for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The Dow up almost 28 points, closing at 13,535. The NASDAQ down almost 7, closing at just shy of 3111. And the S&P up almost 2, closing a little over 1472. Coming up on Twin Tiers Evening News, we've got WVTT Sports. Also straight ahead, a look at the community calendar, and meteorologist Jim Rinaldi will stop in with the Twin Tiers Severe Weather Action Team forecast. That's all on the way here on News Channel 25 WVTT.